What's up, guys? It is Glake here from the Evident Trees once again. Finally back with the next part of Shadows Before Dawn. We're doing tool number 5 today. Tool number 4 was filling up your own cup. If you missed that, the last part is up already, so be sure to check that out, obviously. This is a bit longer than tool number 4 was, so we're going to be in a long stretch here. I got a little bit of time tonight. It's 3:15. It's late, but I'm gonna try and share some of my thoughts at the end. These long ones, it's really hard to compile all of your thoughts just because you're taking in so much information, but I'll do my best to do a little bit of reflection at the end. So tool number 5 is developing self-worth. First section, wondering about worthiness. Lack of self-worth. I said self-worth. Lack of self-worth is a byproduct of lack of self-love. But conversely, lack of self-love is also a byproduct of a lack of self-worth. To understand how lack of self-worth leads to a lack of self-love, we have to first look at the idea of worth in and of itself. Man, all these THs and Fs. Worth is defined as the quality that renders something desirable, useful, or of quality. And worthiness is the quality that renders something desirable, useful, or of enough quality to have value. So worth is based on desirability, usefulness, quality, and value. But the question is, to whom? Most of us define the worth we have to ourselves by how much worth we have to others. If you are filled with self-hate, then you will likely believe that you are undesirable, useless, and flawed, and are of no value to yourself. But this is actually impossible, because you live with yourself, inside your own skin, every single day. Because this is the case, obviously, you are tremendous. Because this is the case, you are obviously you are of tremendous value to yourself. But just saying it doesn't make self-hate go away. The roots of self-hate grow weeds in two opposing directions: the direction of pride and the direction of shame. Insecurity is at the heart of both conditions, where you start to see the world comparatively. We call this comparative worldview vertical thinking. This is an important concept to grasp. People who think vertically tend to hold a limited worldview, where they are either better than or worse than, on top of or beneath, the people, things, events, and circumstances in their lives. Prideful people are vertical thinkers, and they have terrible self-worth because they cover their deep insecurities by becoming arrogant and narcissistic. The substitute for real self-worth in their lives is the thought that they are better and more important than others. They hold tight to the belief that they are better than human. People who develop shame also have a terrible self-worth. They are stuck in their insecurities, seeing themselves as dust of the earth. They never focus appreciatively toward themselves. The substitute for real self-worth in their lives is the thought that they are humble. They hold tight to the belief that they are less than human. Okay, before the next section, I'm actually going to very quickly... I should probably cut this, but this is only going to take me a second. I'm going to actually put my glasses on. Normally I have my glasses on when I read. My eyes are like skipping around the pages. Anybody who wants to see what I look like when I put my glasses on, that's what I look like. Alright. Next section. Authentic self-worth. Authentic self-worth, on the other hand, stems from the understanding that no one is better than or less than human, and in fact, no one is better than or less than you. Those who have self-worth recognize that imperfection exists alongside perfection. They know this imperfection doesn't mean that they have more or less worth than anyone else. They view other people as different but equal to them, and so, in this way, they view the world on a horizontal plane. If we take this worldview of equality a step further and accept that the world around us, including the people in it, are all projections of ourselves, we find that there can be no superiority and no inferiority. All that exists is ourself. When we can do this, our war with the world ends. And when the war with the world ends, our war with ourself ends. So you can think about self-worth as a kind of light that is always there. It can't be taken away from or added to. It can't be earned or lost. It simply exists. It's an unchangeable, untouchable light that is always flowing. The things that you confuse with worth, like positive personality traits, achievements, or talents, are nothing more than a stained glass window that you have erected in front of the light, so the light can express itself in beautiful ways. Likewise, the things that you confuse with worthlessness, like negative personality traits, failures, and shortcomings, are nothing more than cobwebs you have spun in front of that light, preventing it from expressing its beauty. No matter what you put in front of that light, and no matter what you do to enhance or suppress that light, the light of your own self-worth is always there. And that light is the same light that is in every one of us. We could consider this worth our potential. Next section, recognizing your own self-worth. I think I keep saying self-worth. I don't know when these words turned into tongue twisters for me, but apparently they are. I never realized that. Lack of self-worth begins with the idea that we are not good enough exactly as we are, and therefore we can't be loved exactly as we are. So if we don't think we are good enough, how can we possibly love ourselves? There are two plausible answers. The first is to reach a state of perfection, and the second is to let go of the belief that we are not good enough. In order to understand your true self-worth, you must begin looking for the quality inherent within you already, the things that make you desirable, the ways in which you are useful, and the value that you do have. Self-worth stands on the tripod of present endowments, potentials, and contributions and success. A present endowment would be a part of your nature that is enjoyable, such as, I am a person who cares deeply about the well-being of those around me. A potential is an innate capability or capacity within yourself, such as, I have the capability to convey love to others. You can focus on past contributions or success by thinking of ways in which you have contributed to the well-being of others, of the world, or of yourself. An example might be, when I was 6, I saved a baby bird from dying when it fell from its nest, or I got a promotion 2 years ago at work. The key here is that in order to find self-worth, you have to look for it. Your focus has to switch from looking for the ways in which you lack worth to looking for the ways in which you have worth already. If your focus has been pointed at lack for many years, it may take some time it may take some effort to retain yourself to focus on what is there instead of what isn't there. But it's my promise to you that you can retain yourself into your natural state, which is one of self-appreciation. Self-appreciation is not just the fertilizer for self-love, it is self-love. Next section is cultivating love. The word love has been used to describe so many things that it has become a catch-all term. But what is love? Let me pose to you that love is who and what you really are. It's an internal state of pure positive, appreciative consciousness. When you in your physical life are thinking thoughts that are in line with that pure positive focus, that focus is reflected to you through the feeling we call love. It's a feeling that contains within it all positive states. The state of freedom, the state of bliss, the state of peace, the state of, how do I pronounce this here? Equanimity. I don't think I've ever heard that before. The state of equanimity. I never thought that was a legit word. And so on. These are all contained within that one emotion. Love, then, is the emotional reflection of the vibration of oneness, and it exists only in the present. The emotion of love is your indication that you are holding the exact same perspective toward what you are looking at, and the eternal consciousness within you holds. Namely, that consciousness is what you call your soul or higher self. In this way, love is a state of perfect alignment with your soul. So naturally, self-love is the practice of maintaining the same perspective and focus toward yourself that your soul has toward you, a focus that is always appreciative. We can simplify all of this by saying that love is pure positive focus. Anytime you are focused positively toward others or yourself, you are in the state of love. Anytime you are focused negatively towards others or yourself, you are not in the state of love. Love is therefore a moment-to-moment decision. It is our natural state, but one we too often get trained out of. Cultivating self-love means to retrain yourself back into alignment. For this reason, it's a choice. You can choose to direct your attention positively toward yourself, or you can choose to direct your attention negatively toward yourself. This is the page, but I guess not. Wait. Like I said, these pages be thick. It's sometimes difficult to figure out whether or not I'm skipping a page, but I think I'm good. Self-love is a commitment to a positive focus and appreciative attitude toward yourself. It's a skill that you develop. It's really that simple. When you direct your focus positively toward yourself, you will feel the emotional reflection of love toward yourself. It is a moment-to-moment choice that you become more skilled at doing the more you practice. Next section, creating a personal inventory. To begin cultivating your own self-worth, it's good to start by compiling 3 lists. Make these lists as long as you can possibly make them. If you want to keep adding to them over a period of time instead of completing them in one sitting, feel free to do so. For the first list, you're going to begin an internal scavenger hunt for your present endowments. You're going to compile a giant list of your positive traits and talents. One good tool to use when you are doing this is a thesaurus. You could scan a thesaurus for positive personality traits and copy down the ones that fit you. You can also call other people and ask them to contribute to the list by telling you what they consider your endowments to be and what they value in you. Here are some examples of things you might find on that list. So I guess this is for, like, if you want to start a list, now's the time to do so. But so for the things on the list, my list of endowments: I'm a good cook, I persevere, I'm introspective, I care, these are just examples. I have a good ear for music, I'm the kind of person people feel comfortable telling their problems to. I have a good sense of humor, I'm honest, I'm loyal. It means a good deal to me that people around me feel loved. For the second list, you're going to compile a list of your capabilities and potentials, which are expressions of what you can do and what you could do. Examples of things on this list might include the following. I always have the potential to let go of what no longer serves me. I am capable of doing something even if it scares me. My body is capable of taking food and turning it into energy. I have the potential to find hope. I can convey love to other people through my actions. I can recognize my thoughts. I have the capacity for self-awareness. I could choose to quit and just end my life, but I haven't yet. I could learn to be in the present moment. I am capable of understanding both sides of a story. For the last list, compile a list of your past contributions and success. These are examples of times when you have contributed to the well-being of yourself or others, and successes you have had in your life. Here are some examples. I befriended the girl in my school who had no friends. I won my grade school talent show. I discovered a way to attend college just by being born into a family that was poor. I donated money to an animal shelter. I remain on good terms with my ex-boyfriend or girlfriend. I baked a birthday cake for my best friend. I put bugs outside instead of killing them. I told my grandmother I loved her before she died. I got a promotion at work. I quit smoking. Next section. Reinforcing your worthiness. It is important for you to realize that it's impossible to be worthless. But it's equally important for you to realize that if you have ever contributed to the well-being of yourself or any other being in this universe, it's even more impossible than impossible to be worthless. I suggest that you keep these lists somewhere where you can refer to them every night before you go to sleep. If writing isn't a process that appeals to you, you can record yourself speaking these lists out loud and then listen to a replay of your list before you go to sleep. Sleep is an opportunity to extend positive focus from a 10-minute exercise to an 8-hour exercise with no effort. When you wake up, you'll be on the same note that you drifted off to, which will guarantee that you'll start your day off on the foot of self-love instead of self-hate. Because self-worth and self-love are so intertwined, they feed each other. As you work on recognizing your own worth, you will naturally begin to love yourself more. And as you begin to love yourself more, your self-worth will naturally increase. So don't feel as though you have to tackle your self-worth issues to the ground and find self-worth before you can love yourself. You can work on the process directly the way we just did by writing the 3 lists, but self-worth will also appear as a result of the love you are beginning to show yourself. And the good news is, the fact that you are even reading this book right now means that you have already decided you are worthy of self-love. If you didn't think you were worthy of self-love, you wouldn't have put forth the effort to seek out a way to discover how to love yourself in the first place. And that is all for tool number 5. Wow, that is a lot. So especially when it comes to the lists, these are more sort of the positive affirmations type of things, I feel like. Which, personally speaking, is something I've never done. Outside of, this would probably sound really bad, but outside of me just feeling like it's super corny, it's just not something that I feel like I personally have ever had the time to do. But I mean, I feel like if, even something as simple as, if you're like ever filling out a bio on social media, or I don't know, a job application or something like that, like, we find ourselves doing things like this in everyday life to a certain degree, maybe not to like the consistent extent as, she's sort of recommending in this book, but I feel like to a certain degree we all do this at some point in our life. We all write down our achievements, we all write the things that we're capable of doing or were capable of doing in the past, but it's kind of just getting into the habit of, owning up to the things that you have done and can do, and I guess just celebrating sort of, what you are capable of. Let's see, what else can I touch on real quick? There was one other thing that really stuck out. It was kind of like the first 2 pages. I'm going to try and find it real quick. Oh man, I don't know where it went. Yeah, I can't really remember where it was, but yeah, I can't really remember where it was, but anyway, to close out what I was saying though, like just the concept of self-worth in general, I think I mentioned this the previous part, is I said that it's always been something that's been rather difficult for me. Feeling like worthy for a lot of different things is like super tough. And I think it's just something that's just always ingrained in society. You're always constantly trying to, I guess you could say, one-up yourself. You're always trying to become better, which in a sense is good, but at the same time, when trying to become better, it's really hard to do that without looking at your faults and I guess you could say looking at them in healthy ways, because we look at these aspects of ourselves and we're like, okay, this is bad, gotta get rid of this, and oh my god, I don't think I'm worthy enough for this because I still have these negative aspects, and so on and so forth, and it can really just stack and stack and stack, and it can really just spiral. Yeah, I guess that's kind of something that I personally always have dealt with, and if I'm being 100% honest, it's not something that I feel like I could fix with just affirmations and just writing things down, but it is something to think about. That everybody, if you think about what she stated about everybody essentially being each other, and just the concept of oneness in general, just that just makes the whole concept of self-worth like even more, like the fact that we view ourselves as unworthy sometimes just even more silly when you think of just the concept of oneness in general. It's just like, how could, like, not worthy compared to what? Like, we're all one and the same, so it's just silly to even think about not being self-worthy, I guess you could say. Or but yeah, anyway, I wish I could go into more detail about this, but it's late. My brain isn't working, as you could already tell. But yeah, that is section number 5, or sorry, tool number 5. That is developing self-worth. Next is number 6, of course, which is jail bars of belief. So this should be an interesting one. Just looking ahead about, yeah, it's about as long as tool number 5. So we got another lengthy one coming up, and I think we are about halfway. I want to say we're about 40% way through the book now. So yeah, if I keep doing these consistently, we could definitely finish this in no time. So yeah, let me just keep the string going, and yeah, we'll be done with this very soon. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to drop a comment, sub if you haven't done so yet, and I will catch you guys in the next reading. Take care.